Every time you pay rent, they had a role in that number. Every time you take out a loan, they set that rate. Every time inflation eats into your salary, they decided to let it happen. They are not elected, they are not fully audited, and for most of their history, they operated in almost complete secrecy. They are the Federal Reserve. And they may be the most powerful institution on Earth that most people know almost nothing about. This is their story.
In the freezing November of 1910, a private railway car slipped quietly out of Hoboken, New Jersey, carrying secrets the public would not learn for decades. Its destination, a remote, fog-shrouded island off the coast of Georgia, known to a small circle of millionaires as Jekyll Island. There, behind locked doors, 7 of the most powerful men in America met in absolute secrecy. Bankers, senators, and the quiet architects of empire. For 9 days, inside a private hunting club, they drafted, revised, and disguised a plan that would reshape the financial soul of a nation. 3 years later, beneath the same quiet candlelight, that plan became law. The Federal Reserve Act was signed into history. And in the chambers built for the people, the course of a nation was quietly, permanently, and forever changed.
On the surface, the Federal Reserve is America's central bank. It manages the money supply, sets interest rates, and acts as a lender of last resort to the banking system. But here's what most people don't know. The Federal Reserve is not a government agency. It is a private institution, owned by its member banks. The Board of Governors is appointed by the President, but the 12 regional Federal Reserve banks, the ones that actually carry out monetary policy, are owned by private commercial banks, banks that profit from the system they help control. These are not elected officials. They answer to no voter. They represent a hybrid of public mandate and private interest. When you hear that the Fed raised interest rates, that decision was made in a room like this, by people you never voted for, answerable to no one but the system itself. The most powerful financial institution in the world, and the public was never asked.
Every financial empire eventually reaches a breaking point. Not with explosions, not with war, but with numbers. Markets don't collapse instantly. First, confidence disappears, then liquidity, then the illusion of control. The media calls it volatility. Economists call it correction. But behind closed doors, they know exactly how fragile the system truly is. Because modern economies are not built on money, they're built on belief. And once belief collapses, everything else follows. Trillions move through the system every single day, invisible, untouchable, controlled by institutions most people will never see. And somewhere above the chaos, while entire nations panic, the lights remain on. Every financial crisis begins with a decision, a signature, a closed-door agreement the public never sees. Then the markets react. Trillions vanish in hours. Panic spreads faster than governments can respond. Entire economies stand on structures most people will never understand. Invisible systems, invisible leverage, invisible control. And when collapse begins, unelected people step forward to decide what survives and what doesn't. The media calls it market instability, temporary volatility. But behind the cameras, they know the fear is real. Because somewhere above the panic, while millions watch the collapse unfold, someone is still in control. While governments print promises, ordinary people count survival. Not wealth, not ambition, survival. The world keeps moving, ships keep arriving, containers keep crossing oceans. Even when the system begins to break. Because money no longer belongs to one country. It moves through networks, through banks, through markets, through invisible corridors most people will never see. In every crisis, wealth does not disappear. It relocates. From the exposed to the protected, millions continue their routines. They go to work, pay their debts, watch the news, and wait for someone to explain what is happening to their lives. But above the panic, above the noise, someone is already preparing for the next move. Because crisis is not just disaster. For some, it is opportunity.
Every movement leaves a pattern. Every pattern becomes data. And every piece of data becomes power. The modern world no longer runs on oil alone. It runs on information, silent systems, storing billions of lives without anyone noticing. Signals cross continents in milliseconds. Markets, governments, communications, all connected to the same invisible network. Somewhere behind the screens, people monitor economies like military operations, watching instability before the public even notices. Most people never see the system around them. They simply move inside it. Every day, every payment, every routine. And above the noise, above the headlines, above the panic, someone is always watching.
Modern surveillance no longer hides in the shadows. It watches openly, quietly collecting identities, behaviors, patterns. Behind every public decision, there are private rooms, private meetings, private interests. The system no longer depends on human rhythm. Machines now control the flow of logistics, commerce, and supply itself. Information became the most valuable resource on Earth. And the people who control information control perception itself. And while systems grow stronger, ordinary people grow weaker. Crisis always arrives from the top down. Because somewhere above the collapse, above the fear, above the noise, power remains untouched.